The views expressed on the Jerry Cahill's CF podcast are that of Jerry Cahill and guests, and not necessarily those of the Boomer Esiason Foundation. Nothing on the Jerry Cahill's CF podcast should be considered medical advice. Such advice can only be given by a physician who is experienced with cystic fibrosis. The Boomer Esiason Foundation, Jerry Cahill and guests cannot be held responsible for any damage which may result from using the information on this podcast without the permission of your medical doctor. You're listening to the Jerry Cahill CF podcast presented by the Boomer Esiason Foundation and jerrycahill.com.
Welcome to Jerry Cahill's CF Unmasked podcast series. In a world where everyone wears a mask, it's nice to see a soul. This show, Mental Health with Cystic Fibrosis, was made possible through an unrestricted educational grant from Gilead to the Boomer Esiason Foundation. Today we'll meet Bradley Poole, 31 years old from Little Valley, New York. After a rough childhood that lingered into his 20s due to mental health issues, Bradley has started his own business in physical fitness and is happily married to his wife, Stephanie. Bradley will be sharing with us some of his struggles with depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and anxiety due to cystic fibrosis and how he deals with it on a daily basis. It's an honor to be launching CF Unmasked with Bradley today to talk about mental health issues, a problem that many people with CF suffer from but keep hidden in the closet.
My name is Bradley Poole. I'm 31 years old. I have cystic fibrosis. I live in Little Valley, New York. I am married to my wife, Stephanie. We've been married almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years this summer. We have custody of my nephew, Elijah. My family, I have two sisters. One's older, one's younger. The one lives like 10 minutes from me. The other one, the older one, she lives in Buffalo, New York. My mom is still alive, and my dad is deceased. He passed away 8 years ago from cirrhosis of the liver. Me and my dad were pretty close. And it's just hard to see your parent, someone close to you like that, go through that type of thing. Growing up with cystic fibrosis wasn't normal for me because I hid it from everybody but my family. Only a couple of close friends knew I had it. I didn't want anybody to know because I was embarrassed that I had it. I thought that people would look at me differently. If they knew that I had it, I would lose friends because of it. They would say I'm the sick kid, pick on me, make fun of me. I just wasn't comfortable sharing it with people. And especially like girlfriends and stuff I had like that. Or when people would come over to my house, I'd hide my vest, I'd hide my pills. I didn't want people to see or question me about why are you taking those pills, or what's that breathing treatment there, like why you gotta do that. It was very hard for me to keep that a secret. And I did feel alone. It is like having two personalities, because when you're with your friends, you're this guy who plays sports and you're just like them, you're running around having fun. But then when you're at home, you're doing your treatments, taking pills every time you eat. A lot of anger gets built up just from the fact that, why me? Why do I have this? How come none of my friends or anybody else I know has this? How come I have to go through all this stuff? I believe my anxiety, I noticed it probably started when I was 8, 9 years old. I was a big worrywart. I was worried about every single thing. I would have racing thoughts of self-harm, and I would have to perform rituals in order to help relieve that anxiety of the thoughts. A lot of my mental health issues come from having CF, and just knowing the statistics of death, that a lot of people with CF don't make it past 40 years of age. The doctor's visits, hospitalizations, antibiotics, orally, intravenous, all of that stuff just takes a toll on you. I dealt with the anxiety. I hadn't been diagnosed yet, but it was in my teenage years. I was struggling big time mentally. I coped with that by binge drinking. You could probably say that I was an alcoholic. So between 17 to 23, I would drink 5 to 6 days a week, to the point where I was blacking out because I was just suppressing everything that was going on with me, mentally and physically. When I first got diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder 3 years ago, it hit me kind of hard because now I have not just cystic fibrosis, but now I got a mental health disorder on top of it. And it's just, I felt like my world was crashing down at that point. I didn't love myself back in my teenage years. Through the early 20s when I was drinking all the time. I actually hated myself. Now that I've been to counseling and stuff like that, I always try to look at the positive side of things instead of dwelling on or thinking about the negative side of things. And I noticed that that's kind of helped get me through. When you're going through whether it's cystic fibrosis, a physical illness, or a mental health illness, the support system is very important because you need those people to help get you through whatever you may be going through. It feels really good to have a support system because if I didn't have a support system, I'm not so sure where I would be at right now. Having all those suicidal thoughts. If I didn't have a support system, could be possible that I could have taken my life already. With the CF, I guess you just feel like, it's a rare disease and not many people have it, like in relation to the whole population. But now that there's Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, where you're friends with a bunch of people who have CF, and they go through the same kind of stuff that you do, it makes it a lot easier for you to cope with it. Now that I see that I can talk to people, and I'm open and I'm honest with people, I'm telling them what I'm thinking, it's a lot easier now to help to deal with it, and less lonely now. My biggest fear is dying young from CF. One of my biggest fears. So in order to prevent that, or I think helps prevent it, is just being religious with my treatments, exercising my butt off, and just trying to stay as positive as possible. I am a personal trainer and group fitness instructor. So just being involved in the fitness world, you're also getting your exercise by helping out, by teaching classes, by working with your clients. And then, I'm exercising on my own on top of that. What gave me the courage to speak about CF and mental health is that I know there are a lot of people out there struggling who don't talk about their mental health issues. And I just want them to see that it's okay to open up so they can live a life, a better life where they're not keeping things bottled inside and keeping things to themselves. They're talking about it and they're not embarrassed that they have it, and not scared what people are going to think if they know they have a mental health disorder. I'm not going to lie, it's hard to be unmasked, tell people what you're experiencing mentally, because you have a fear of what people will think of you. When you can get that stuff off your chest, it just makes you feel 100 times better. I want to be able to live a long adult life. I want to be around for my family, my friends for as long as possible. I want to show that CF can be beat. I want to show I may have this mental illness, but it doesn't define me. I'm gonna fight it the hardest I can, and I'm gonna get through whatever problems come my way. The life expectancy today is like 40 years of age, I believe. So if I can live past 40 years of age, to me, that is beating CF.